How's it going, guys? Oddly Unorthodox back making another video. On Total War, a bit of a different race today. Thought I'd give a go as the Skaven. Just a bit of a friendly 2v2 with randoms in the sort of custom game, no ranked shenanigans, and just straight up land battle. So going into this, I wanted to use the poison wind mortars. I thought they'd be quite solid. And we were playing against Empire Vampire counts. So, a bit of a weird mismatch. Normally I wouldn't upload a game like this, but I thought I'd upload it specially, just because of the satisfying ending. So, straight away we managed to get a decent chunk into the Graveguard, and he went like a really heavy Graveguard frontline, Manfred, and then a bunch of bats and stuff like that. Quite interesting build. The only problem being, obviously, he was going to take a lot of damage from magic on those elite units. So this is the posturing at the start. Probably should give you guys a rundown of what I brought. It was 3 clan rats with spears, 2 Skaven slaves, and then I think it's 4 clan rats with swords and shield. We've then got 2 Eshin triads, 2 rat ogres, the Ikit Zap Zap Warp Lightning Cannon, and then we've got the Avalanche Mortars and some Poison Wind Mortars. He takes a nice amount of damage there, but obviously it's just going to heal it up anyway. No worries whatsoever. But we managed to chunk him down a bit. This is sadly your typical sort of Empire build these days. And it's quite sad that he left his ally to sort of move up by himself and die, and he deployed all the way back here because he wanted to camp in his box. I quite dislike this sort of play. It's a real sort of sweaty, try-hard corner camp. It's been in all the Total War games. The Dwarves can do it, Empire does it, and he's just left his ally to really take quite a large beating, and lose quite a lot of his main, he's popped his heel there. Did he actually miss his own? Yeah, he missed the Graveguard, sadly, bit of a misplay. But they're taking a fair amount of damage from the mortars, but it's not going to be too long until they realise they need to shut down those mortars, which will be about now. I really could have done with brought in like the Nasty Bubo sharpshooters just to something to offer threat, because obviously Ikit Claw has the ability to lock down flying units. Howling Warp Gale, I think it's called. Just double check to make sure I'm not chatting absolute rubbish. Yep, Howling Warp Gale, in which they can't move. So if I'd brought like Nasty Bubo sharpshooters or something like that, I could have really punished, or even the teeth rattlers, I think they're called. Which is obviously the Regent Renown minigun ratlings. So we push him off, but they've took a fair amount of damage. He manages to destroy my Ikit Claw cannon. He sacrifices both his foul bats for it, which is, it happens. But his Empire ally, even though he's up trying to deal with stuff, is just still sat back here refusing to move. Didn't send his pistoliers up. Didn't send anything to go help. Quite disappointing, really. But we're going to fast forward just a tiny little bit, because this is just posturing. Obviously, summons some zombies, they get beaten up by the rat ogres, and then we get back to it. Kairos is just casting spells at the minute. 435 value on him, not too shabby. Obviously, I've not really used Ikit Claw at the minute because I was just basically working everything else. So they sadly die, those wind mortars, and then these guys, I'm trying to hide them at the back to get them away, but alas, I don't think it will be much worthwhile. We start rolling Ikit Claw over because I've noticed that he is grouping his Graveguard as they run around here, which I am happily going to go deal some damage to. We are getting pummeled by the artillery, but at the end of the day, my allies got quite an elite army, so I'll happily take the Hellstorm rocket batteries on clan rats. So Ikit Claw, we tie him down again. But like I said, I've not really got anything to injure him while he's locked down. So I really could have done with bringing like the Nasty Beauty Sharpshooters or the Teeth Rattlers like I've mentioned. But now, why he's focusing there, because they are going to die soon because he's just really going after them, I decide to get my own revenge. Now you see him on 2 kills at the minute, and then we Brass Orb as they all walk through it. You know, really chopping through the Graveguard. Yeah, you see the value climbing. And then we hit them with a beautiful one of those. Which mainly hits the tithe at the end, but, you know, we're up to now 1,000 value off those couple of spells. We managed to clip a few of the Graveguard with that, but really at the moment we're just chipping away at the Graveguard as much as possible. You know, another spell down there, which, yeah, does alright damage, takes out a few more, up to 1,200 value, and this is the sort of idea, just hitting them as they move through, trying to make life as difficult as possible, take out those Graveguard before they can really get in there. He chases down my Mortars, he's constantly just summoning stuff on top of them, trying to use everything to get rid of them. Understandable. But at this point, you know, he's spending a lot just to tie into combat with clan rats, which is not really going to work out best for him. So Ikit Claw at this point is making a pretty penny for himself. And then we're going to go back over and try and get some more value. Nice attempt by my ally for the pendulum there, but I get a better cast up here, catching the Graveguard. You know, 3 squads of them that time. Couple hundred value off that spell alone. But these are all breaking down. You know, they're at the point now where they're crumbling. They're pretty much done. And now he sends his Outriders up to shoot at clan rats with spears. He did send his Khan Wraiths in, but I'm just slowly chewing through them. Yeah, the clan rats with spears are winning there somehow. And as you can see, I'm really quite happy with 1,700 value. Just from casting spells, taking out the Graveguard, stuff like that. But we know he's going to be out of artillery stuff soon. So, because we are now at the range disadvantage, the best thing I can do is try and pull the units into the forest, because we don't want to go run at that gun line, and that's literally what he wants us to do, just so then he can run the halberds through and can, you know, just mow down anything that comes near him. So a little bit more posturing, as you would expect. You know, we put another warp gale down on the old Manfred. He's exhausting all of his range shots straight into clan rats. Quite happy about that. You know, if they'd been focusing Ikit Claw or something like that, I could have been in real trouble. So we're just trying to be as annoying as possible. You know, this is the big key with Skaven, is units aren't expensive. So, you know, if you're taking up all of Outriders' ammunition just to try and kill one squad of clan rats, that's fine, take that. Chaos Knights of Tzeentch apparently have had enough. What's the speed like on those? 70 to 90, yeah, they're not catching them. He decides to back up, which is quite smart. The artillery's still chasing us, and as you can see, I've now given the order to go into the trees, deny a little bit of vision, and just to group everything together. Another pendulum attempt there, which, you know, not a bad attempt, but sadly just missed the mark. What have we got there coming down? Manages to trap them, so that's not too bad. Catches them, they ain't going anywhere, they're going to get absolutely murdered. And now I'm just using Ikit Claw just to be a little bit of a nuisance. And like I said, you know, I'm already up to now like 2,400. They get the move order, and I just managed to catch a few on the back. Enough just to upset their leadership. And then I realised I'll just deal with these zombies. But we move everything into the trees. Now, because we know the Empire player has got the number advantage. You know, he outnumbers us. And he's pretty much untouched. Yes, he's used all of his artillery ammo and his outriders. But he's still got this whole army that hasn't really done anything. Which is quite sad for, obviously, the Vampire Counts player. Because he's just not... He just got focused. Because he was the only target. Now, we're going to fast forward a little bit because this is the bit that I hated the most. So we move into the trees, move round. He sits there for the longest time trying to go, right, why aren't moving? You've got to come to me. Until eventually, because at this moment, the reason I'm quite okay to sit in the trees is because I'll just keep using Nicket Claw's ability, Unlimited Power. And I'll just keep getting as much spell as possible because I really need to use Ikit to his best ability. To make it worse, he also literally brought a Light Wizard with net. It is a very sweaty try-hard build. I'm not a massive fan of it. Really quite dislike it. So, I move back because at the end of the day I'm happy to just keep spamming Unlimited Power and just to keep getting my wins and magic up because I know I need to use some magic on these guys. So they decide to move up eventually and he literally sets up like this and refuses to move. For anything. So I decide, right, I'm going to start the fight because at the end of the day, I don't want to be sat here for 20 minutes in a standoff. So we do get a decent spell cast there, down to 2,000. And, you know, Kairos is picking off Manfred, making sure that he's dead. You know, we get some alright casts off. Now, here's a misplay from me. I decide this is a nice group, a nice bundle. So we move Ikit Claw up, forgetting completely about the Light Wizard, who starts making his way straight over because I want to drop, you know, a Flensing Ruin, but I get caught by the net. So I use my last orb because I expected to die at this point. But, you know, the Brass Orb, the Flensing Ruin, you know, you look at Ikit Claw, he's well enough paid for himself, 3,600 value, and I was just charging. I didn't fancy playing the Mexican standoff game, and I thought if I charge in and he tries to focus everything on me, the best thing I can do is hope to buy time and he can get his Chaos Warriors in, which, you know, are going to do a lot more damage than I'm going to do. So we'll fast forward to this game, just went on for so long. And the bit I found the most amusing is I lose everything at this point. I think I've got some Rat Ogres left, which I'll use to chase off some of his gunners and stuff like that. Him realising that now he's stuck in quite a sort of predicament. Instead of fighting it out or using his horses to like fight off my Rat Ogres to then get his handgunners back, can you guys guess what he does? As much as I expected, he locks down the Knights, shoots the Knights, realised that these over here are broke, you know, he's not getting these back. He realises and he just quits. Doesn't finish it out to the end, doesn't try and fight to the end, just quits. Yeah, at least to say it was a build that quite annoyed me. Mainly not because it was annoying to play against, but more just because I felt bad for the Vampire Counts player because he did just get left out to dry. But looking over the values, you know, the Rat Ogres did okay, not amazing. The Eshin Triads didn't do amazing, but then I did get pummeled by a hell lot of artillery. And I can't judge the ranged units off their performance because I just got shut down. I didn't really have an answer for that. But Ikit Claw, absolute MVP. Really can't express how good this Lord is. Thanks for watching this video, guys. I'll catch you on the next one. It's been Oddly Unorthodox.